When was the last time you heard anyone talk about MV Agusta with the passion it once commanded? Almost never. That silence tells the entire story. There was a time when this Italian motorcycle manufacturer represented the absolute pinnacle of two-wheeled engineering. Their bikes graced the garages of celebrities, dominated racing circuits, and carried price tags that made Ducati look affordable. For decades, MV Agusta felt like a guarantee. If you wanted the most exclusive handcrafted Italian motorcycle money could buy, you bought MV Agusta. The momentum was real, and the brand rode it all the way to $350 million in global sales. But momentum only lasts if the foundation beneath it remains solid. Ownership changed hands repeatedly, quality control became inconsistent, and the boutique identity that once made MV Agusta so desirable slowly transformed into a liability. The name stayed recognizable, but the trust evaporated. So today's question is simple. How did MV Agusta rise to motorcycle royalty, and what engineered their customers' financial ruin? The reality of MV Agusta ownership today is not what glossy brochures once promised. Take Marco from Milan, who spent his life savings on an F4 1000R, only to discover that just 2 years later, his $32,000 investment was essentially worthless when electrical problems rendered it unrideable. The dealer who sold it to him closed, and the warranty support that was promised vanished with the changing ownership structure. His repair quotes now exceed what he paid for the bike. Or consider Sarah from California, who financed her MV Agusta Brutale 1090RR over P&V years. 3 years in, catastrophic engine failure left her with both monthly payments and a $14,000 repair bill that the manufacturer refused to cover. Despite the bike being under warranty, the repair costs pushed her into credit card debt she is still fighting to escape. These are not isolated incidents. MV Agusta forums overflow with similar stories. Owners who purchased what they believed was the pinnacle of Italian engineering, only to find themselves abandoned when problems inevitably surfaced. One owner in London reported repair bills totaling over $45,000 on a motorcycle that cost $28,000 new. Another owner in Germany declared personal bankruptcy after his collection of 3 MV Agustas all developed similar critical failures within months of each other. The pattern is unmistakable. Visit an authorized MV Agusta dealership today, if you can find one still operating, and you will likely find empty showrooms, discounted old stock, and nervous sales staff unwilling to make firm commitments about parts availability or service support. How did we get here? How did a brand that once commanded $350 million in global sales systematically engineer its customers' financial devastation? The answer lies in a complex web of mismanagement, deliberate corporate strategies, and exploited passion. Today's MV Agusta bears little resemblance to its former glory. Annual sales have plummeted from their peak of around 9,000 units globally to barely 3,000 units, with revenues falling proportionally. Over 60% of their dealership network has collapsed since 2015, with major markets like the United States seeing dealer counts drop from 45 to just 12 nationwide. The few remaining dealerships typically sell other brands as their primary business, with MV Agustas relegated to a small corner of the showroom. Customer sentiment has deteriorated even faster. Analysis of social media mentions shows that negative comments about MV Agusta outweigh positive ones by nearly 7 to 1, with warranty issues, impossible repairs, and financial disaster among the most common phrases. Review aggregation sites show an average owner satisfaction score of just 2.1 out of 5 stars for models purchased after 2015, compared to 4.3 for models from the early 2000s. Perhaps most telling is how industry insiders view the brand today. Racing partnerships that once defined MV Agusta's identity have dissolved, with no factory racing team in any major series. Celebrity endorsements have evaporated, with former high-profile owners quietly selling their collections. Even motorcycle journalists, notoriously reluctant to criticize manufacturers, have begun acknowledging the ownership challenges in their reviews, a euphemism for the financial devastation many owners experience. The legal landscape tells an even grimmer story. There are currently ongoing class action attempts in Italy, Germany, the United Kingdom, and the United States, though many face jurisdictional challenges due to MV Agusta's complex corporate structure. Individual lawsuits number in the hundreds, with claims typically centering on denied warranty coverage, parts unavailability, or repair costs that exceed the original purchase price. Perhaps most damning is the silence from motorcycle media. While publications eagerly cover new model announcements, virtually none have investigated the systematic warranty denials and service issues plaguing owners. This silence speaks volumes, because in an industry dependent on manufacturer advertising, few dare expose the reality behind MV Agusta's glittering facade. To understand MV Agusta's rise and fall, we must first understand its origins. The company was founded in 1945 by Count Domenico Agusta, who transformed his family's aviation company to motorcycle manufacturing after World War II restrictions limited aircraft production. From the beginning, MV Agusta embodied exclusivity and engineering excellence rather than mass-market accessibility. The post-war era in Italy was defined by an industrial renaissance, and motorcycles represented both practical transportation and national pride. While Vespa scooters mobilized the masses, MV Agusta deliberately positioned itself at the opposite end of the spectrum, producing expensive, meticulously engineered machines for the elite. And initially, this premium positioning was justified by genuine innovation. MV Agusta pioneered advancements in engine design, introducing the first four-cylinder motorcycle engine in production racing. Their early models featured engineering solutions that would not become standard in the industry for decades. These were not just expensive motorcycles, they were legitimately advanced machines. This engineering excellence translated directly to racing success. From 1952 to 1976, MV Agusta dominated Grand Prix motorcycle racing, securing an astounding 270 Grand Prix victories and 75 world championships with legendary riders like John Surtees, Mike Halewood, and Giacomo Agostini. This racing pedigree established credibility that would later become the cornerstone of the brand's marketing strategy, and ultimately, the justification for premium pricing that far outpaced actual product quality. The racing success attracted attention from the cultural elite. By the 1960s, MV Agusta motorcycles had become status symbols for film stars and musicians. Their exotic designs, astronomical price tags, and racing pedigree created an aspirational identity that transcended practical transportation. Owning an MV Agusta was not just about having a motorcycle. It was about joining an exclusive club of connoisseurs who could appreciate and afford the very best. This early period established key elements that would define MV Agusta's identity for decades: Italian craftsmanship, racing success, cultural cachet, and extreme exclusivity. These were the foundations upon which the modern brand would be built and eventually exploited. Following Count Agusta's death in 1971, the company faced turbulent times. Racing successes continued, but changing market conditions and management issues led to the cessation of motorcycle production in 1980. The legendary brand lay dormant until 1992, when Claudio Castiglione, already known for revitalizing Ducati, acquired the rights to the MV Agusta name. Castiglione's vision was clear: resurrect MV Agusta as the ultimate premium motorcycle brand, leveraging its racing heritage and exclusive Italian identity to command premium prices in a market increasingly dominated by Japanese manufacturers. The strategy was not simply to build good motorcycles. It was to create objects of desire that transcended practical transportation. The marketing masterfully emphasized elements that consumers could not easily evaluate objectively. Italian craftsmanship was positioned as inherently superior to mass production, despite the quality control advantages of modern manufacturing. Hand assembly, which introduced variability and inconsistency, was reframed as artisanal attention to detail. The very aspects that would later contribute to reliability issues were presented as exclusive benefits, justifying the premium price. The 1997 launch of the F4 750 motorcycle, designed by Massimo Tamburini, represented the perfect execution of this strategy. The F4's distinctive four-pipe exhaust, single-sided swing arm, and sculptural bodywork created an instantly recognizable silhouette that automotive journalists described as moving art. Its $20,000 price tag, nearly double comparable Japanese superbikes, was justified not by superior performance or reliability, but by exclusivity and aesthetic design. Celebrity endorsements amplified the brand's desirability. When actors, musicians, and athletes were photographed with their MV Agustas, It reinforced the brand's position as the ultimate motorcycle status symbol. The message was clear. Ordinary people bought ordinary motorcycles, but extraordinary people chose MV Agusta. This strategy enabled global expansion with a boutique approach. Rather than building an extensive dealer network, MV Agusta established small, exclusive dealerships in wealthy urban centers. These showrooms resembled high-end fashion boutiques more than traditional motorcycle dealerships, with limited inventory, appointment-only service departments, and salespeople who emphasized the brand's heritage rather than discussing practical ownership considerations. By the early 2000s, the revival strategy had succeeded. MV Agusta had re-established itself as the most exclusive motorcycle manufacturer in the world, with price premiums from 300 to 400% above comparable Japanese or German motorcycles. The stage was set for the brand's peak, but also for the business practices that would ultimately devastate its customers. Between 2005 and 2008, MV Agusta reached its commercial zenith. Global revenues approached $350 million, with waiting lists for limited edition models extending over a year. The secondary market reflected this demand, with used models sometimes selling for more than their original purchase price, a phenomenon previously unheard of in motorcycle markets outside of rare vintage machines. This period represented MV Agusta's cultural apex as well. The bikes appeared in major films, music videos, and luxury lifestyle publications. Owning an MV Agusta was not merely transportation, it was membership in an exclusive club that signified wealth, taste, and appreciation for mechanical artistry. The brand had achieved what marketers call aspirational necessity. Among certain demographics, the feeling that success was not complete without this specific symbol of achievement. Racing success continued to validate the premium positioning. While not matching the dominance of the brand's historical golden era, MV Agusta achieved respectable results in World Superbike and other production-based racing series. These racing activities served a crucial marketing function. They created the perception that the expensive, hand-built production motorcycles shared DNA with competitive race machines, justifying their premium pricing through implied performance capabilities. To support the growing owner base, MV Agusta established an exclusive service network with authorized centers charging premium rates for routine maintenance. A standard service that might cost $300 on a Japanese motorcycle would command $1,200 on an MV Agusta, justified by specialized training, exclusive tools, and the prestige of factory-authorized maintenance. This service network would later become instrumental in the financial extraction strategy that devastated owners. During this peak period, customer satisfaction was generally high, though warning signs were already visible to informed observers. Early production models exhibited electrical issues, parts availability problems, and significant quality variation between individual motorcycles. However, the excitement of ownership, combined with attentive dealer service during the warranty period, masked these underlying problems. Owners who experienced issues typically received prompt attention, building a reservoir of trust that would later prove exploitable. The 2008 financial crisis marked the beginning of the end of this peak era. Economic pressures exposed the fragility of MV Agusta's business model, setting the stage for the ownership carousel that would ultimately betray customer trust. The decline of MV Agusta as a trusted brand began with what industry insiders call the ownership carousel. From 2005 to 2021, the company changed hands 7 times, moving from the Castiglione family to Harley-Davidson, back to the Castiglione family, then to Russian investors, Mercedes-AMG, more Italian investors, and finally to current Russian ownership. Each ownership transition came with grand promises of investment, modernization, and renewed commitment to quality. Each ended with financial extraction and deteriorating product quality. More significantly, these transitions created a corporate shell game that allowed systematic denial of warranty obligations. New owners would routinely refuse to honor warranties issued under previous ownership, leaving customers with no recourse. As ownership changed, quality control deteriorated precipitously. The hand assembly process that had been marketed as a premium feature became a liability, with significant variations in build quality between individual motorcycles. Electrical system failures became so common that owners joked about Lucas, the Prince of Darkness, the notoriously unreliable British electrical components maker from the 1960s, having secretly designed MV Agusta's wiring. Engine reliability issues emerged across model lines, with oil consumption, overheating, and premature bearing failures becoming common after relatively low mileage. These were not exotic edge cases, but predictable patterns that the manufacturer refused to address through recalls or warranty extensions. The warranty shell game accelerated during this period. Customers who purchased bikes under one ownership regime would find their warranty claims denied after ownership changed. The corporate structure, with separate entities controlling manufacturing, distribution, and intellectual property, made it nearly impossible for individual consumers to successfully pursue claims. Dealers, caught between angry customers and an unresponsive manufacturer, often found themselves unable to provide support. Service costs exploded as parts availability became increasingly problematic. Components that should have been routine, oil filters, brake pads, clutch plates, were routinely backordered for months. Specialized electronic diagnostic equipment required for even basic maintenance was restricted to authorized service centers, charging labor rates exceeding $200 per hour, more than most luxury car service departments. Most disturbing was what appeared to be a deliberate customer abandonment strategy. Warranty claim procedures became increasingly complex, requiring extensive documentation, shipping of components at owner expense, and waiting periods extending beyond the warranty period itself. Service bulletins addressing known issues were distributed to dealers with instructions not to proactively inform customers. Parts pricing increased dramatically, with components that cost manufacturers $50 to produce selling for over $1,200 to consumers. The cumulative effect was not simply customer dissatisfaction, it was systematic financial extraction. The true cost of ownership was not the purchase price, it was the endless cycle of repairs, parts, and service that could easily exceed the original purchase price within the first 3 years of ownership. Today, the financial reality for MV Agusta owners is grim. Analysis of owner forum data shows the average total cost of ownership exceeding $50,000 for motorcycles, with original purchase prices around $30,000 over a 5-year period. This does not include depreciation. It has accelerated dramatically, and many models are now worth less than 25% of their purchase price after just 3 years. Customers seeking warranty support find themselves in legal limbo. The complex international corporate structure makes jurisdiction difficult to establish. Class action attempts have struggled because the number of affected owners in any single country is relatively small, even though the global pattern of abandonment is clear. Individual lawsuits often cost more to pursue than the repairs themselves, creating a practical immunity for the manufacturer. The market has responded accordingly. Competitors like Ducati, BMW, and even boutique manufacturers like Bimota have gained market share specifically from former MV Agusta owners seeking premium motorcycles with reliable dealer support. Notably, these brands typically charge 30 to 40% less than comparable MV Agusta models, while providing substantially more reliable products and service support. Industry insiders now speak of MV Agusta in hushed tones. The dealer network collapse, with over 60% of authorized dealers closing or dropping the brand since 2015, has left even basic parts and service support unavailable in many regions. Multiple dealers told us off the record that they were owed tens of thousands in warranty reimbursements that were never paid, forcing them to absorb costs for customer repairs or to close entirely. The ongoing impact on customers is perhaps the most troubling aspect. Many owners remain trapped in expensive repair cycles, having invested too much to abandon their motorcycles but unable to afford proper repairs. Collapsed resale values make selling and cutting losses impractical, and continuing to ride means accepting the financial risk of catastrophic failures. For many, the dream of Italian motorcycle ownership has transformed into an ongoing financial nightmare with no clear exit. The MV Agusta situation raises serious questions about accountability in luxury manufacturing. Will customers ever receive compensation? The legal outlook is not promising. The international corporate structure, combined with the specialized nature of motorcycle manufacturing, creates jurisdictional challenges that few individual consumers can overcome. Class action attempts continue, but success remains uncertain. What is particularly troubling is how easily the situation could repeat itself in other luxury sectors. The MV Agusta strategy, leveraging heritage and exclusivity to command premium prices, while systematically reducing product quality and service support, could be applied to any luxury good where consumers lack objective measures of value. When emotional connection to a brand becomes the primary purchasing motivator, exploitation becomes possible. Consumer protection in luxury markets remains woefully inadequate. Regulations designed for mass-market products often contain exemptions for low-volume manufacturers or imports, precisely the categories where premium brands operate. The assumption seems to be that wealthy customers need less protection, when in reality, the premium prices they pay should guarantee superior support, not less. This raises broader questions about the motorcycle industry specifically. Built on passion and aspiration, motorcycle marketing emphasizes emotional connection rather than rational assessment. When brands deliberately exploit this passion, turning trust into a weapon against customers, it undermines the foundations of the industry itself. Is MV Agusta an isolated case or a symptom of a systemic issue in boutique manufacturing? Evidence suggests the latter. As global wealth inequality increases, luxury brands across sectors have discovered that small production volumes combined with premium pricing can generate substantial profits, especially when customer support costs are minimized through strategic corporate structures. The lesson for consumers is clear but painful. In luxury markets, price and quality have become increasingly disconnected. The most expensive option is no longer necessarily the best, and heritage brands can leverage their history to extract maximum value while delivering minimum support. In the case of MV Agusta, this strategy generated hundreds of millions in revenue while leaving a trail of financially devastated customers in its wake. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to restore. For MV Agusta, the path back to legitimacy would require not just improved products, but systematic compensation for abandoned customers, something no ownership regime has yet been willing to undertake. Until then, the once proud Italian manufacturer stands as a cautionary tale of how quickly motorcycle royalty can engineer their own customers' financial ruin. The motorcycle industry created $350 million in MV Agusta revenue, an average ownership cost of $50,000, 270 Grand Prix victories, 75 world championships, and countless shattered dreams. The question is not if luxury brands can betray customer trust. It is whether you are next. Agree or disagree. Subscribe now to see which iconic brand we expose next.